Okay guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Halliwax V2 weathering, painting, prepping, scratching, acid, etching, bending, banging, unveiling, unwrapping, unboxing. Um, Again, if you didn't watch the last part, go back and watch it because Danny is amazing. I sent this to Halliwax to have him paint it real quick. He had it for way too long, but for good reason, because he wanted to learn and get it right and spend all kinds of time and effort trying to figure out all the ins and outs, and apparently spent a lot of that time working on this really amazing, fantastic custom display box that I had no idea he was working on that. And I have to kind of go back and correct myself because at first I was like, this is too legit. No way he made this. And then I realized, remember that Danny's a effing carpenter and that's his freaking job. So of course he made that. But the reason I said there's no way is because how good it looks. It does not look like somebody cobbled that together in the basement. That looks like, that's like a $400, $500 custom box. It's solid wood, stained, bronze corners, brads, leather. I'll have to show it again when I have this whole thing done, but oh my god, it's amazing. I can't quit looking at it. It's over there to my left, sitting on my chair, waiting for me to get this bad boy opened up so I can put it all together. So, without further ado, here is the finished V2. This is Dan's Anakin Starkiller's latest version. He just announced that he was doing another kit version, which is going to have a little bit different assembly to allow you to kind of build your own configuration the way you want it to. If you wanted a V2 or a V3 or FX or a stunt version. This is the last V2 dedicated version that he did. Lots of time and effort put in by everybody involved to get these measurements pretty much spot on. I could never do anything even close to this. Let me tell you how, before I get into this, how much fun it was to compare all of these screenshots, try to get the angles just right, try to recreate the angles, try to stitch together, little sections at a time to kind of recreate these scratch patterns for these stencils. And having one of Dan's finished ones in hand makes that process completely invaluable. It's the only way I could actually get it done. You think you can look at a picture and stretch it out and skew it, and then you're done. You just print it out and get the measurements and you're done. But doing that and then sticking it on something that's curved and wrapping it around and looking at it and then taking a picture of it to line those pictures up, different kinds of lenses, different distances, different slot angles, changes everything. So having one of these in hand to do this is just makes all the difference in the world. So Dan, dude, kudos. This thing is amazing. All right, so here we go. This is what Danny, aka Halliwax, did for my V2. Holy crap. Holy crap. I'm going to need to get the beep button ready because I'm about to start cussing. Dude. Okay, I'm not even going to move it just yet. I'm just going to look at it. Holy crap. Dude, how did you do this? Okay, so, first of all, I can't even talk. Wow, this is so cool. I don't even want to touch it. I feel like I really, for a second there, I feel like I'm picking up the real thing because it really does feel, this is not a paint job. Whenever you have a replica, you buy something from Master Auto, because when it's weathered, it looks like they have a stencil or a guide, or somebody gets a brush and does a quick silver to make it look like it's scratched up, and it serves the purpose. The 6-foot rule. This is like the 2-inch rule here as far as getting close enough to tell. I almost feel like I was picking up the real thing. I'm trying to be real careful with it. This is my same replica that I sent back to him, but it looks like I got back the real piece, the real prop from him. So like I'm like scared to touch it. Oh my God, you probably can't even see half the detail I'm looking at here, but all right, first of all, whoa! Whoa! Okay, all right, slow down, slow down. Okay, let's start from the pommel here. He's got these nicks cut into it and these scratches cut into it that look and replicate the real deal exactly where they are. Inside each one of them is some little bit heavier acid wear, acid etching to darken that up. It's got those 2 scratches on that cube. Nailed that. The mill mark. The fishing line. Dude. Mystery chunk. Wow, look at that. Dude, he did everything. Everything. Okay, so now I know you guys probably haven't stared at these stencils nearly as long as I have. Hopefully I still have the Guinness Book of World Records on staring at these stupid things because I made them, but I can tell that he got every single little piece. And I don't expect everybody to get these because they're just so hard to weed out. That's why I say take a picture of them so that way when you do make a mistake and one of them peels off, you can just come back in there and paint it. But dude, he got every one of them, and then the paint is like, man, I wish I could pick up the detail on here. Can I zoom in? Does this work here? Oh, look at that. So he's got this texture on this paint where it's burnished and roughed up and raised so it looks exactly like if it was just natural chipping. Look at that. Holy crap. Like the detail on this thing is just insane. And I'm not even talking about my stencils. I'm talking about the post job of the post work after applying the stencils to go back and burnish all of that and add that texture in and weather up the actual paint after you apply them. That's what really does it. The stencils are just kind of a step 1. He went to like step 10 here. Okay, let's go back to level 1. Okay, so off of the booster area, and then we're looking at the Halliwax clamp, which in the real prop is still fairly clean. And then you've got your little scratch here. That's so cool. What do we call this? The Kylash? Because of that's okay. So that looks, in the pictures, it looks so much. It's so hard to tell what it is because you'll see it like this, and it's like crazy dark. And then here it's like brown, and then at other angles, you can barely see it. So trying to figure out what that scratch was when you barely see it like this, and it's like in one frame. But that looks really good in person. It looks just like a little bit of light. It's just the tarnish or the finish has been scratched off, and there's a tiny bit of rust underneath it. It's not nearly as pronounced in person as it looked in the pictures, which is perfect. It's dead on. This is like exactly what I wanted. It's still shiny. It's still dirty, but it's not like overly gray and overly dulled. You've got some nice rusting in here. Dude, this is insane. How did you get all of this stuff, man? There's the amazing soft furnace card with the soldered traces. Brad, as always, amazing job. Dead on, perfect. Looks like you got the, man, you got these little solder points just right on. You feel the texture of them raised up. And the clamp band. Wow. Dude. Dude. Everything. Everything. Okay, so let's check the infamous alignment here. Centered. Lined up with this edge. Lined up with the moose. Nailed it. Nailed it. So there's a little, I've got names for all these these little guys here. Excuse me, so I've stared at them so long. But the only way you can communicate to somebody what you're talking about is to, what's that phenomenon called? Pareidolia? Pareidolia? That's the tendency for humans to see patterns in faces and make sense out of randomness. So that's when you see a rabbit in the clouds. Pareidolia. Dolia? I'm saying that, I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. But anyway, so here's the moose. I don't know why that looks like a moose to me. It looks like Bullwinkle facing to the left, and there's his antlers at the top. This guy right next to him used to look like Pikachu, but we got an updated little scratch here that knocked a hole in his head. There's the little monkey. There's the Italian loafer. There's the Italian shoe. Let me zoom in here. There's the shoe. There's the little lobster claw pinching the turnip. There's the little turnip. There's the, we're going to skip that one. There's the other thing that we're going to skip. Now up to the rings. Holy crap, dude. He's got this nice, looks like, I mean, it looks like it's powder. Like if I touched it, it would rub off, but it's like in there. I don't know how you sealed that in there, but it looks dry and dusty. Like if I were to touch it, it would rub off my fingers, but it doesn't. It's like you must have used powder and then sprayed it on, or used a clear coat or something. But this is so cool. How you got the chips, you got the scratches, you got this dirty rust. I see 2 or 3 different colors. There's like a beige, there's like a red rust, all in these grooves. Moving our way up to the neck here. There's the little mushroom. Mushroom, mushroom. If you're older than 30, you might know what that is. Okay, now here's the piece de resistance. Since my French is so awesome. The coloring on, what is going on with my phone here? The coloring on this, dude, nailed it. Nailed it. Everybody was trying so hard to do bronze and gold and copper. And I was like, you know what, in the 70s, I don't think there was bronze and gold rattle cans. It was probably a brown. And then I was looking at my Bausch helmet. Bausch that I did for Return of the Jedi. And I used browns and blacks and stippled them. And I was like, you know what, that looks exactly the same. So I showed some pictures to Danny, and he's like, on it, I'm gonna try it. And dude, that turned out amazing. That looks exactly right. I don't know how well this is showing up in pictures, but in real life, that is dead on. There's blacks and light browns and dark browns and rusts and texture and shiny and matte all rolled into one, and that whole combination just makes it perfect. So if you haven't seen his, again, he's got a tutorial on all of this, but if you haven't seen a tutorial on how he gets this color right, dude, what is going on with my phone? Stop. My phone is having a seizure here. If you haven't seen the tutorial on how he does this, check it out, because that's how you do it. Have I been out of focus this entire time? 15 minutes of being out of focus. Let's hope not. Moving up to the gaffer's tape. He's got that wrapped just right where the seam hits the right spot. Slightly see the groove inside there. Man, just bang on. Bang on in every way. All right, and now to my favorite part. I don't know why this is my favorite part, but it is. The emitter. I think it's just because the only time you really get a good clean shot at this thing is it's sitting on Emperor's Throne, and it's kind of angled like that where you can see the edge of the emitter pretty good. He's got these little subtle bends knocked in it just about right. Every little cut and notch and ding. And you've got the, man, you can't really see it, but yeah, there you go. The ridge that we used to think was a beveled edge. Again, I guess that was probably Scott realized that because he's held the damn thing. And so Dan took that beveled edge out of the latest model, and you just hit it a couple times and it creates that ridge. A nice little ring around the whole thing. Perfect. It's got the notch cut in the nipple, and the dark spots on both sides of that. Dude, every little part is, this whole thing is just insane. I cannot tell you how happy I am with this whole thing. I absolutely just knocked it out of the park and all the way around the whole planet. That is just, and it's got that cool little rattle. Sounds like you're picking up something complicated and heavy. This thing is so cool. Dude, awesome job. I'll lay this down here and get some better angles of it. See what this looks like without the light on. Cannot say enough good things about this. This is by far the coolest finished prop I have ever owned. And I've had a few in and out that I've bought and sold over the years just because financial reasons or wanted something slightly better. But this one is like, this is personal, man. I'm taking this thing to the grave with me. This is insane how much time and effort and work you put into this. I'm just like finding all these little nuances that you can sit here and just stare at this thing for hours. I'm not going to, because YouTube will only let me upload like 20 minutes. I'm still gonna have to cut this one out anyway, but dude, Danny, bravo, man. This is like, I just can't believe this. This is so bang on perfect. Get ready to have your inbox flooded with people begging you to do this, because I don't blame them. Thank you again so much. I can't say enough about this. I guess I'm going to end it because I'm just going to sit there and stare at it for another 30 minutes before I put it on the display. But Danny, thank you so much, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave some comments, or definitely reach out to Danny if you have any questions. or me for that matter. I'll try to help you out with whatever I can. But awesome job, man. I can't believe it. It's fantastic. Thanks, brother. See ya.